What is up, YouTube? And before I get this video started, I had a can of beans earlier, and I seem to have spilt some of them on my shirt like a dumbass. Oh well. I'd like to give a shout out to Brittany Owen. She's one of my newest viewers. Thanks for the support. But this particular video is going to be why marijuana should be legal in Wyoming. Well, for starters, let's look at the oil industry. As technology continues to advance, it becomes increasingly easier to drill for oil, thus driving down the demand for manual labor, which means people in the oil industry are going to lose their fucking jobs. So if you legalize cannabis and hemp in Wyoming, you open up a shit ton of new jobs for people. Get my trusty pipe and some tobacco. Ha ha ha. Another reason why cannabis should be legal in Wyoming is because Wyoming, unfortunately, has a really bad meth problem. And Casper is one of the worst meth towns in this country. It's disgusting. Why should marijuana be legalized in Wyoming? There's a lot of people in this state that could really benefit from its use. Myself included. I have high functioning autism, also known as Asperger's syndrome, and I also have cataracts in my eyes. But that is nowhere near as worse as the conditions. I've met people with conditions in Wyoming that could use medical marijuana a lot worse than I could. People with cancer and MS and shit like that. Why should marijuana be legal in Wyoming? Why should hemp even? Because it would greatly benefit our state. For another reason, marijuana was perfectly legal in Wyoming until about 1980. So roughly 36 years of prohibition. Why should cannabis and hemp be legalized in Wyoming? Well, for starters, Wyoming calls itself the cowboy state. And lassos were made out of hemp for a good 162 years of American history. Why should cannabis be legalized in Wyoming? Because it would free cops up to do actual police work, like catching meth heads and rapists. Oh. The fact that in Wyoming, if you get caught with any weed on you, they could potentially throw you in prison for 15 years. But if you get caught raping somebody in Wyoming, that's a measly 3 years. That's fucking ridiculous. I've been trying to use my powers to make marijuana legal across the United States here. And I'm not doing too bad. We got like 11 to 10 states left to go. Me and some friends of mine were doing a ritual of sorts, and they had asked me if I wanted to ask the deities anything, and I said, well, could you make marijuana legal? About a month and a half after that happened, marijuana started becoming legal all over the place for medical and recreational use. Now, the reason why Governor Matt Mead doesn't want pot legal in Wyoming, Governor Matt Mead, of course, is the governor of Wyoming. Him and his wife say things like, well, kids are trying alcohol at 12 and 13 years of age. We don't want them trying cannabis. Meanwhile, Governor Matt Mead owns a whiskey factory in Wyoming. He's one of 3 people that owns a whiskey factory in Wyoming, which I'm not condoning him on his choice of alcohol. I myself am a whiskey man, but that's kind of bullshit, man. Governor Matt Mead is merely an ex-cop brought up in reefer madness society. You know, the only reason Governor Matt Mead doesn't want pot legal in Wyoming is because he's afraid his whiskey factory would lose money. Rather than look at it from a businessman's perspective, he could help legalize weed in Wyoming. Then Governor Matt Mead could start his own pot farm and then double the money he makes with his whiskey factory. But he doesn't look at it like that. You don't want kids trying marijuana, then you need to legalize it so it can be regulated at a dispensary. Fact of the matter is, it's a lot easier for kids to get a hold of tobacco and alcohol than it is to get a bag of weed. And by actual police work, you know, stopping litter bugs at Veterans Park. I've had a lot of people on YouTube and Facebook are like, You should do a weed video. Trust and believe you'll see me smoking pot on YouTube when it's legal in Wyoming. Yep. Which could be sometime in July. I've been hearing rumors that they're going to legalize it in Wyoming. So, hopefully the rumors are true. Whenever I have actually smoked pot, it not only gets me stoned, it also helps me deal with my autism. And then it also gives me a little bit of creative influence when it comes to making my wands, making my music, and playing my guitar, and what have you. Excuse me. Despite being 7 o'clock at night, the sun's still out. And with technology making it cheaper to drill for oil, people start losing jobs, and it can take an actual effect on the economy in Wyoming. Now, if you're getting busted for pot, here's something that you can ask the cop. Be like, would you arrest your mother for smoking it for her cancer pains? Or how about if your brother had HIV/AIDS and was smoking pot to relieve the pain of it? Or what if your child had seizures and the only thing that helped your child's seizures was cannabis oil? Would you arrest them for it, even though it's illegal in the state? Or what if your uncle had arthritis? And what if your aunt had multiple sclerosis? Would you arrest them for smoking it for their relief? But what if your son had autism or ADHD and cannabis seemed to be the only natural solution to helping them? Would you arrest them then? So why should we legalize cannabis and hemp in Wyoming? Because the economy and its people would benefit from it greatly. Telling somebody they can't smoke cannabis when it's a simple issue of freedom to medicate naturally. It's no different than telling somebody they can't marry their loved one because they're the same sex. You know what I'm saying? It's no different. Telling somebody they can't do something that makes them happy because it's illegal. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. And if Congress can legalize gay marriage, surely they can find it in their corrupt hearts to legalize pot and hemp. And while we're on the subject of legalizing drugs, we should also legalize cocaine in its natural form. We should also legalize shrooms, peyote, salvia, DMT, and acid. Tax the fuck out of it, regulate it, create a whole shit ton of jobs. And when you're doing these things, do them in a safe environment and don't do stupid shit when you're under the influence. And when I say cocaine, I'm not talking about crack. Fuck that nasty shit. I'm talking about cocaine in its natural form. Why should we legalize coke? Because fucking A, it used to be in our fucking soda. Coca-Cola used to have cocaine in it. But they're like, oh, cocaine's illegal now, so what are we going to do? Well, let's replace the cocaine with sugar and caffeine. It does the same thing, but on a much, 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 much smaller scale. But we need baby steps, man. Baby steps. So if we can start by getting cannabis and hemp legal, it would be a step in the right direction. I'm not just talking about Wyoming, damn it. I'm talking about this entire fucking country needs to be legal. DMT should be legal too. Humans naturally produce it when they sleep at night. Your dreams are the cause of DMT firing off in your brain when you sleep, which causes you to go into your subconscious and have dreams. Yet, if you get caught smoking DMT, you go to jail for it. What the fuck? Legalize it and reschedule it. If you legalize cocaine, you put a Surgeon General warning on it that says may cause addiction and overdose. Leave it at that. And rather than incarcerating somebody for drug use, if it's truly fucking up their lives, wouldn't it be a better use of taxpayers' money to put them into treatment rather than to incarcerate them? The same fucking society that looks at you and calls you a drug addict if you smoke pot, but then turns around and then shoves beer commercials down our throats during Super Bowl Sunday. Not every person gets violent when they drink. That's a blanket statement. And that's why I think marijuana and hemp should be legal in Wyoming. But not just in Wyoming, you know what I'm saying? Just legal in general. This drug war costs taxpayers trillions upon trillions of dollars. So only the select few make money off this drug war, while the rest of us suffer. Anyways, YouTube, thanks for watching. I'll catch you all later.